I thought I saw your face today, but I just turned my head away, your face against the trees. And I just see the memories as they come, and I couldn't help but fall in love again. No, I couldn't help but fall in love again. Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm John and I regularly post ukulele tutorials here on YouTube to suit all different abilities. Today we're going to be looking at the beautiful song I Thought I Saw Your Face Today by the American musical duo She and Him, consisting of Zooey Deschanel and M. Ward. The song is a wistful, jazzy piano ballad that conveys lament following a breakup. It was written by Zooey and features on the duo's first album, Volume 1, which was released in 2008. The song recently experienced a big resurgence in popularity after going viral on the video sharing app TikTok in late 2025, where it was used in many creators' video clips. I personally hadn't heard the song until about a week ago, and I haven't been able to stop listening to it since. We'll be looking at the song in its original key of G major, so you can play along with the original, but I've also made a play along for the song which I'll link to in the card above and the video description below to help you with your practice. So grab your ukulele, make sure that you're in tune, and we'll get started. But just before we do, if you do find this tutorial helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps me a lot with making more of these videos moving forward. If you'd like a PDF copy of the song sheet with the lyrics, the chord diagrams and the solo tablature, buy me a coffee, see how to do so in the video description below, and I'll email it over to you. Alternatively, join me over at my Patreon site where all my video tutorials and accompanying PDFs can be found in one place. The link for this can also be found in the video description below. The song has a simple form and no intro as such, and it goes straight into a sparse first verse with just the vocals and the piano, or the ukulele in our case, and the bass. Next we get verse 2 where the drums and the other instrumentation comes in, and then after this we get a bridge, which is then followed by an instrumental verse. In the original it has a whistling solo that I've tabbed for ukulele as I can't whistle to save my life, and then there's another bridge section, and finally one more verse that then has its last line repeated 2 more times to finish the song. As the original is performed on a piano, there really is no strumming pattern as such, and we're just trying to mimic the simple rhythm that the piano plays on each beat of the bar. So we literally just play down, 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 but with a slight emphasis on the second and fourth down strum. In order to do this, I generally play the first and the third strum with my thumb, and the second and fourth strums with my index finger. So, but you could equally strum with just your thumb or a finger and just play a little louder on strums 2 and 4. The verse is 10 bars long and starts with a single note pickup in the vocal on the word I before we land on the first beat of the first bar. So, I thought I saw, and so on. Most of the song has 2 chords in every bar sharing the bar evenly, so with the first chord taking the beats or strums 1 and 2 and the second chord taking beats 3 and 4. In bar 1 we have an A minor 7 on beats 1 and 2, and a D7 sus4 on beats 3 and 4. And this D7 sus4 is a similar shape to our standard D7 bar chord, but here we're fretting the 2 strings nearest the floor with our second finger. I generally bar right across the second fret with my index finger and fret the 2 strings at the bottom with my second finger, but feel free to experiment with different fingers if you want. In bar 2 we have a G and a G sharp diminished chord. In bar 3 we go back to A minor 7 and D7 sus4. Then in bar 4 we get another G and a G sharp diminished 7 chord. And then in bar 5 once again we get an A minor 7 and a D7 sus4. And then in bar 6 we have another G chord, but this time it's followed by an E7. And next, in bar 7, we have a C6 chord. And yes, this is the same shape as the A minor 7, as both chords contain the same notes, but the chord name is decided on by what the bass is playing under the chord as the root note. And in this case, it's a C instead of the A for the A minor 7. The second chord in this bar is called a C minor 6 / E flat. Or it could be referred to as C minor 6 over E flat, or C minor 6 with E flat in the bass. This is what's commonly known as a slash chord, and as a ukulele player we ideally want to play a C minor 6 chord with its lowest note as an E flat. And the good news here is that the standard C minor 6 shape, the E flat is already the lowest note here on the C string. So I didn't really need to label the chord with the E flat as well, but it's good for you to know what it means when you see a slash chord like this. And a bass player reading a chord sheet would definitely need this information. So now in bar 8 we go back to a bar sharing a G and an E7. In bar 9 we get a repeat of bar 7 with just another C6 and a C minor 6 with an E flat in the bass. And in bar 10 we just have a full bar of G. So if I play through the first verse, it would sound something like this. I thought I saw your face today, but I just turned my head away, your face against the trees. But I just see the memories as they come, as they come. And I couldn't help but fall in love again. No, I couldn't help but fall in love again. The second verse is the same chord sequence as verse 1, so just to reiterate, an A minor 7 and a D7 sus4 sharing bar 1, a G and a G sharp diminished in bar 2, in bar 3 another A minor 7 and D7 sus4, in bar 4 another G and G sharp diminished 7, in bar 5 we go back to the A minor 7 and the D7 sus4 one more time, and then in bar 6 we have a G and an E7, then in bar 7 I'll C6 and C minor 6 over E flat, and then in bar 8 a G and an E7, in bar 9 another bar of C6 and C minor 6 again, and in bar 10 a full bar of G. So with the different lyrics, verse 2 would be, I saw it glitter as I grew, and loved it why I never knew. I thought this place was heaven sent, but now it's just a monument in my mind, in my mind. And I couldn't help but fall in love again. No, I couldn't help but fall in love again. Next we get the bridge, which is just 5 bars long, and in bar 1 we have our C6 and C minor 6 chords sharing the bar. And then in bar 2 we have a B minor 7 / D chord. So once again, here we want to play a B minor 7 chord, ideally with the D as its lowest note. And the good news again here is that the D on the 3rd string is the lowest note in the chord, unless of course you're playing a low G tuned ukulele. It's worth noting here that we're not always going to be lucky enough to just find the slash note as the lowest note in our chord shapes. And this is where we would need to look for a different inversion of the same chord. But we'll leave that concept for another lesson for now. The second chord in bar 2 is a B7 chord, which I'm playing in this barred shape, so I just have to add one finger to the B minor 7 that came before. In bar 3 we get another C6 and C minor 6, and in bar 4 we get a G major 7 chord this time, followed by our G sharp diminished 7, and finally in bar 5 we get an A minor 7, followed by a standard D7 chord. without the sus4 quality. So the bridge would sound something like this. And the cars and freeways implore me to stay away out of this place. My mother said just keep your head and play it as it lays. As I said earlier in the video, after the bridge we have an instrumental verse where there's a lovely solo that's whistled in the original recording. But my whistling is rubbish, so I decided to tab it as a ukulele solo. The 10-bar chord sequence is identical to the previous verses, so if you're playing the rhythm part you just repeat those chords. For anyone wanting to learn the solo, I'll go over it briefly now with the tablature on the screen. I would recommend starting slowly with each section, then building up your speed as you improve. I'm assuming here that you already at least have a basic understanding of tablature. If you haven't, it may well be worth trying something a little easier first, as I'm not going to cover each individual note of the tab, but more a demonstration just to give you the idea of the timing of each phrase. You'll see here on the tab on the screen that we have an 8th note pickup played here on the open E string, and this falls on the last bar of the bridge over the D7 chord. This leads us into bar 1, where we get this 4-note phrase. And I'm not playing the final note in this bar, as that's effectively the beginning of, or the pickup into the next phrase in bar 2. So the first phrase in bar 1 with the pickup from the end of the bridge would be. Then with the final note in bar 1 acting as the pickup into bar 2, and again missing the final note in bar 2, we would have. Next with the final note in bar 2 as the pickup, and then the whole of bar 3. In bar 4 we then get this lovely little phrase. Then in bar 5 we get the same 4-note phrase as we had in bar 1. And in bar 6 with the pickup from bar 5 we have the same phrase that we had in bar 2. And again I didn't play the final note in bar 6 there, as I'm thinking of it as the pickup into bar 7. So in bar 7 it's the same again as bar 3, so with the pickup. Then in bar 8 we get this new 4-note phrase. And you'll notice again I didn't play the last note because it's acting as the pickup into the final phrase in bars 9 and 10, which would be. As I said before, practice this slowly first and practice each phrase individually before putting them all together. So, if I now play a clip from the instrumental section of my play-along video, you'll be able to see and hear how this solo sits over the verse chord sequence at the correct tempo. So after the instrumental verse we get the bridge one more time. And the cars and freeways implore me to stay away out of this place. My mother said just keep your head and play it as it lays. And finally we have one more verse with different lyrics to the first two verses, with the final line repeated 2 more times to finish. I somehow see what's beautiful in things that are ephemeral. I'm my only friend of mine, and love is just a piece of time in the world. In the world. And I couldn't help but fall in love again. No, I couldn't help but fall in love again. No, I couldn't help but fall in love again. No, I couldn't help but fall in love again. So now we have a nice ukulele arrangement with the chords and a solo for I Thought I Saw Your Face Today by She and Him. I'll link to my play-along video for you to practice with in both the card above and the video description below. Be sure to hit the like button if you found this tutorial helpful, and don't forget to subscribe for more ukulele content. Let me know in the comments what other songs you'd like to learn next. If you'd like a copy of the song sheet with the lyrics and the chord diagrams and the solo tablature, buy me a coffee, see how to do so in the video description below, and I'll email it over to you. Or alternatively, join me over at my Patreon site where all my tutorials and accompanying PDFs can be found in one place. The link for this can also be found in the video description below. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
And the cars and freeways implore me to stay away out of this place. My mother said just keep your head and play it as it plays. I somehow see what's